Hello. Good evening, Chwempala. Elias Munsha here. And of course, we started off with Namsonda. For some reason, this song gets to be played a lot here on this show. I don't know why. But we have a very special guest. TV Bakwetu is your TV. And so we are hoping here that we are going to have a very great time. We have several things to get to. But just so you know, our guest is Moomba Thornicroft. After we've spoken with her, we are going to talk a little bit about the New Dawn government. And then we are going to ask ourselves what happened today at the Ministry of Information and Media. I know there is a lot that has been said about that. And then we are going to have our full a team of the TV Bakwetu members. And then we are going to look at some of the things that have happened today in Zambia. As usual, please don't forget to share with as many people as possible, because we have something very, very interesting for us to get to today. So share. Secondly, if you are able to like us on YouTube, is it subscribe to us on YouTube and then share and invite others as well on YouTube. On Facebook, like us, follow us, spread the word, and also send us stars and every good thing, every nice thing. Because here on TV Vakwetu, we like nice things. We like nice things. We must do that. And so I do have my co-host with me here, Linda Banks. Linda, good evening.
Good evening, Bamunsha. Good evening, Moomba. Nice to see you. I was actually planning to say hi in Lamba, and suddenly it escaped me.
Lamba should be very easy. So just think about it, and then you're going to tell us in Lamba.
Yeah, it is. Mutendemwane Chwempala, Mutendemwane Zambia and diaspora. How's everyone? Nice to see you. Yeah, it's because you guys what? Are you Kalunda, Bamunja? What tribe are you?
Fiance.
So you are like
your tribe
you're like our cousins actually.
No.
Oh gosh. Mwaushi, that's Bemba, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, Mutendemwane is Lamba.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought Mwane is only used by Lunda Luapula and several
and Kaundes as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have with us here today Miss Moomba Thornicroft. Now, help me here with your last name. Is it Thorny or Thorncroft?
Thornicroft. Thorny.
Okay. All right. So we must have the Thorny in Thornicroft.
Yes.
All right. You're welcome to our show here today, Moomba. We are very happy to have you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Good evening to everyone on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're catching us from. Welcome to the show.
All right. And so the reason why we brought you to this show here today, Moomba, was for us to tell us a little bit about what happened last week when you wrote a letter to the police to report Dr. Chimba Kambwili over tribalism. Now, before we go there, kindly tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? What,
Okay. My name is Moomba Thornicroft. I live here in Zambia, and I have been very politically active in the last 10 years. I have been a member of the opposition for the last 20 years. I'm still trying to figure out how I need to behave now that my party is in powers. Yeah, so I'm a public health specialist, and I work in communities. I work with people. I am a Christian. I go to Mount Zion Christian Center. And yeah, basically that's me in a nutshell. And I'm a mother of 3.
All right. Okay. Now I need to mention here that when I was so Moomba was my parishioner, one of my youth children's church parishioners when I was a pastor in Lusaka. And so we just need to make it very clear from for everyone so that they know that there is a past relationship here. Yeah. Right? Nomba imwe Kadoli, you are now big women. So when you were young, Moomba, imwe nomba.
Atumsalu alipesamba.
So for number. And so there are some young people that are looking up to you. And they'll also catch up with you if you have a life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are a mother of 3 now. Congrats. Oh yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Now, please tell us a little bit, because I wrote your letter that you sent to the police. Tell us a little bit about that. What informed your decision to do that?
Yeah, so basically, I guess we all followed the happenings around the 2021 general elections campaign. And the campaign was masked and marred with all this tribal talk. I found it very uncomfortable at that same time. And I did want to go and report Mr. Kambwili right at that time to the police. And just as I was planning to do that, the Electoral Commission expelled him, or is it suspended him from the campaign trail and everything. And I said, oh, okay, fine. This is great. They have taken the right step, and this is what I wanted to see. We can't have someone going on the podium and hurting people from a certain region. Every time he opens his mouth, it's hate speech, it's tribal talk. I got sick of that. I must mention, my husband is Ngoni. I am Tonga, and you see my other name is Mulenga. I have a Tumbuka background in me. I am all these things, and to see someone stand up and paint one tribe bad just for the sake of political gain, I found that to be very painful and hurtful. And every time he spoke, something inside me was really hurting. So when the Electoral Commission suspended him, I thought, okay, probably this is the road to the justice we deserve. But of course, it didn't happen because he was brought back and he continued. And I wrote the letter when we still had the former IG, was it Mr. Kanganja? I took the letter to the Central Police, but I did not address the letter to the IG. I addressed the letter to the officers at Central Police. So because my letter states that the hate speech was done in Chingola, in is it Mpulungu and Kabwe and all these areas, it had to be addressed to someone who looks over the whole country, and this could not be Central Police because they only look over Lusaka. So I had to go back, and because of my work schedule, I could not take the letter to the IG the very next day. I could only take it the next week. And if you look at my letter very well, it's dated 7th September, because that is the day I planned to take it. And on that day, I think there was something happening, must have been Parliament or something, and I could not get to the police headquarters. So anyway, unfortunately for me, I say unfortunately because this is not how I planned for this to happen. By the time I got a chance to take this letter, we had the new IG already in office. My intent was to take the letter whilst we still had the old IG, the former IG, because I did not want my report to look like it was some form of revenge. Now that there's someone new, let me do this. I intended to leave that letter with Mr. Kanganja, but unfortunately it did not work that way. But someone had to take the step. Why did I do this? I have noticed that we have a lot of young people who are looking up to us.
Wamona wakota. Anyway.
So I noticed that we have the youth looking at us. Oh my God, I'm not a youth anymore. So we have the young people looking up at us. So we need to behave in a certain way. We need to have a certain demeanor. It calls for us to have some kind of character, some kind of persona around us. If we are going to call ourselves leaders, Mr. Kambwili is a political leader. He has people that follow him. And I believe that's why at some point he felt he could run a political party. You cannot be a leader if you do not have followers. So he knew that he had followers. So he went ahead and created that party. There are people who listen to him. When you look at his Facebook page, you see how many people have liked his page, how many people follow him. When he speaks, how many people are listening? So the question that I asked myself was, how many young people sit down and they say, one day I want to be like Mr. Chishimba Kambwili? That for me was a no-no. I would not want not even one more person to open their mouth in public and utter the words that he was uttering. And I thought someone had to put a stop to that. And if someone has to get something done, it has to be you. So I took that step for the sake of the future of Zambia, for the sake of the young people who are looking up to us, the Madalas, because one day they are going to ask us, how did you live as such a Zambia? What are we going to say? I don't want my children to feel inferior that they are Tonga, that they have Tonga blood. I don't want my children to say they are Ngoni just because their dad is Ngoni and not say anything about them being Tonga. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Yeah, Vamunshana Mukota.
Yeah.
Moomba, don't start.
Yeah.
So you have a 13-year-old daughter, which is quite remarkable. So Ankotesha, Wamona Moomba.
Mukota. And I want to apologize.
Congratulations.
What do you tell your 13-year-old daughter, Moomba? I have a 13-year-old daughter as well. Has there been an occasion where your daughter has asked you, why is this happening? Is your daughter able to listen to some of the chatter that's been going on? And
yes.
So what have you been able to tell her?
Yeah, and this is what gave me the drive. One time, they were having this end of term concert and things like that. So they were put in these groups, the Ngoni group, or rather the Easterners, the Lozi dance, the Tonga dance, and everything. So she came home and I thought, I'm sure I know a few Tonga songs and I can help my daughter to rehearse and all that. So I got a chitenge and a scarf and everything. I'm like, so what? Yeah. That's what I was expecting. That Balangombe, I can sing, no problem. So she tells me she's in the Ngoni group. She's in the Nsenga group or something like that. I said, but why? I expected you to be in the Tonga group. And says, Mama, being Tonga. What's wrong with being Tonga? So already, even among them at school, they already had this thing that being Tonga is bad. Belonging to this tribal group, it's not cool, But why is it okay to belong to the Bemba group, to belong to the Nsenga group, or the Lozi group, or any other group for that matter? But being Tonga is making a 12-year-old feel uncomfortable.
That is quite worrying. That is very worrying. It takes me back to a post that Vamunsha had posted a while ago saying to, I think you said something along the lines of, to my Tonga nephews and nieces, I want you to celebrate, I want to embrace this new dawn and be excited and be optimistic about the future. So you telling me that is quite worrying, that a young child could start going away from their roots just because it's not cool.
Yes, it's not cool. So it went that deep. And at that point, as a mother, as an adult, and I just thought, we need to correct this.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I didn't know what tribe my friends were. Even if I did, it didn't matter.
Yeah, not at all.
But now there's all this. And while we were talking with my daughter, she said to me, so Mama, does it mean we are UPND? What do you mean? Does it mean we are UPND? And she says,
how are those two things synonymous to each other? Pride and
Why should being Tonga mean you are UPND? And this was a 12-year-old child at that time. So I said, what makes you think we are UPND? And she says, well, my friend said I'm Tonga, which means we are UPND. And then you have the likes, the senior citizens, people we should be going to for wisdom, opening their mouths and demonizing people of a certain region. to the point where it's affecting the 12-year-olds.
Right.
My daughter would not speak to me in public, in Tonga. I'll speak to her in Tonga and she'll respond in English.
Wow.
Tonga was for home, in the confines of our home. So I thought,
No.
there's something wrong here. And before long, fine, campaigns are over and everything, you start hearing, now everyone thinks it's okay to go tribal. You heard Muniezolo and them, you've heard Sean Tembo and what. And I said, this is the cancer that we do not want to grow in our country. It has to stop. It has to end here. And if nobody takes that step to do this, it's going to grow and we are not going to be able to stop this fire. That's
Right.
how I got up and took that letter to the IG's office on Monday.
Now, isn't there some other ways of dealing with this? Why did you think that taking the criminal and your letter is quoting the penal code of Zambia? Why do you think that taking the criminal route answers that?
For two reasons, or maybe more. First of all, it is a crime.
Okay.
This is not a tort that was against any person, in anybody. It's not a tort against somebody. He didn't hurt someone, but this was a crime. It's there in the penal code. Nobody is expected to go against the penal code, which makes it a crime and punishable by law. That's number one. Why was the state quiet? Why was everyone quiet about this? If it goes against the laws of the land, it's not a civil matter. I'm not going against Mr. Kambwili as a person. I don't have anything against him. And number two, I went the criminal route because I need this to be heard. I need precedents to be set. Every time someone opens their mouth and they want to speak against any tribe, they need to remember the people versus Chishimba Kambwili. This has to go down in our books of history. The future needs to learn, they need to know that they can't, because they'll be punished. Talking about it on social media, to me, carries no weight. We say anything and everything on social media. Whoever wants to hear you will hear you, but no one is going to take action. So I needed some action. I need the state rather to take action on this matter, because we need to set the precedence.
Now, how is Chishimba Kambwili's statements different from what Sean Tembo was saying? Is there something that you can freely share with us that you found completely objectionable to what Kambwili was saying?
The reason I took Mr. Chishimba Kambwili to court, or rather I complained to the police, it's because he did not do it once. He did not do it twice. And it's because I know that he knows it's wrong. He did it before, and he went to the Tonga chiefs. I think he went to Chief Monze. I don't remember so well.
I
can apologize.
Exactly. Achta apologize. And you know, when you share a meal, Pastor Munsha, you and I, our histories from church, when we talk about the Holy Communion, the Last Supper, when you share a meal, it's significant of some peace of some sort. You do not come to the table before you make peace with whoever. So when you have an argument with someone, Nishi, you've made up. So that happened. They welcomed him, they forgave him. Against the same people. So he knew what he was doing was wrong, and he knew that he would come back and apologize. Somebody told me that he apologized and said he was under pressure, it was this and that. I didn't see that I didn't see that apology. I didn't read it, but someone said he did. But for me, that does not carry water. It's because he knows he can do it all the time and say sorry and do it again. But it's got to stop.
So what are you hoping to come out of this, Wamba?
I'm hoping that when this case goes to court, we are going to give enough evidence, enough proof for the state to deter, to give some judgment that is going to deter anyone else who wants to walk the tribal walk. Okay. So for me, it's deterrence. That's what I want to come out of this.
So that it never happens again. Your kids won't have to be embarrassed ever again to be the tribe that they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this takes me back to what happened in Rwanda, between the Tutsis and the Hutus. It all started very minimal kind of bad language against one tribe, and then it slowly just started gaining momentum, escalating. And we don't actually know how or understand the Zambians how critical this thing could have got. Say, for instance, if the PF government has got into power, that probably would have escalated. It would have been very cool, quote unquote, to be tribal. And it would have just been not just injustices against people who followed Hakainde Hichilema, but Tongas in general. If you're Tonga, then you would be discriminated against because the leaders of the PF seemed to look the other way when people were being tribal.
Yeah. And Linda, this is not only something that was going to happen had the PF won. This is something that had already started happening. When someone is retired in national interest meant they were from a certain region. And we saw that happening every day. People could not get jobs or contracts or anything because they belonged to a certain region. Anyone with a double O in their name could not get
Humbulo Hyvy.
Yes, Moomba. They just look at your name and it's double O.
We're laughing at it now, but there's nothing remotely funny about this. This is a very, very serious case.
Yeah. It is to an extent where some of my friends in the business industry would not get contracts because Mulepelo Mutonga.
As if Tonga is not a Zambian. It's fascinating, isn't it?
So Tongas became like second-class citizens. Like, why? Tonga is for all of us, Maybe Mr. Munsha knows where the Ushis came from. Bali Tusanga in Zambia.
Yeah.
We should be bullying you.
Exactly.
No. I think Moomba, you are right. If we so our story, the story of the Lubalunda migrations is that lots of fighting. So if you fight with your uncle, ubushikuwacha kwambako.
20 kilometers off your fin.
So I quite Chilufia. Chilufia, young lady known as Chilufia. Vapusana with someone. Vapusana.
Yeah.
Sorry, Moomba. I'm a number the Wonfiako language. So Gabalwa Nishwambako. And then Kuriana Kwena, they have another fight. So that's how the Lubalunda migrations happened.
Yes.
To where now all these people spread and everywhere else. Number two, as Tongas, you have a longer history with this physical place, physical land.
Yes. Yeah, it's so bad. I'll tell you. Some of my friends are watching and they can bear me witness. I had told them the moment they announce that PF has won, they soko queen. I'm carrying my children. My husband is coming with me. We are leaving Zambia at least for the next 5 years because this place was becoming uninhabitable. You could feel the hate, the tension. I don't know what Zambia we could have had the PF continued another 5 years. And for me, this is what I don't want. I would like to create an environment where we can still chat like this, regardless of your political affiliation. Your tribe should not be affiliated to some political party. Can we just go back to the time where it's okay to be whatever tribe and it's okay to belong to whatever party? That's all that Moomba wants. That's the outcome that I want from this case. Not for me, not only for my family, but for Zambia. Look at the intermarriages that are going on in Zambia.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. All our kids have got something
to everyone.
Yeah.
So how do you even get up to talk like that when you have kids who have Tonga and Bemba blood, Ushi and Lozi blood? Like, how do you stand up and speak like that?
Yeah. I must say, I saw this gentleman we're referring to. I call him Dr. Pui personally because he mentioned it himself. I saw him lingering about and talking about something that I was just thinking to myself, you are still talking. Why are you still talking? He was criticizing the government about some debt swap issue or the other. And I was just thinking, you need to just sit down in a corner somewhere, reflect on what you almost made happen in this country. Because he has family here, unfortunately, and he could have escaped. If things went tits up, excuse my language, things got real. Because there would be a time where the Tongas would say, hang on a minute, enough is enough. We're not going to put up with this. And they'll defend themselves. They're human. And then what would we have done? He would have escaped with his family, come to England, and
and where would the Tongas run to? Nowhere.
Yeah. And he's still being allowed. Yeah, he's still being allowed to talk. This is why I got really cross when I saw him with the press. They're giving him attention still. I know the president, right? He's very Christian oriented. We're all Christians, but I feel he's more forgiving than perhaps I am. Maybe I'm not prepared to just let Kambwili get away with it, just like you, Moomba. I'm not Tonga, but I think it's not cool that he should be wandering around freely, not even addressing what he almost made happen.
Yeah.
Right. I'll let you respond to that, Moomba, and then I'll say something.
Yeah. I would want to say this should not even be a battle for the Tongas. This should be a battle for every well-meaning Zambian. It's for everyone. Because if Zambia went up in flames, it's not only the Tongas that would suffer.
Yep.
It's everyone. I mean, we can't just be allowing careless statements like "ngamwaya kumyabo kutiba kocha." I heard of a young girl who was offered a job to go to Choma, and she just said, It's things like that. What are we brewing in our country? You know. So every well-meaning Zambian should be against tribalism. It might be Tongas today. It will be another tribe tomorrow. Are we going to contain it?
Yeah. And so, Moomba, the Lungu's tribal retaliation, so to speak, even went beyond Tongas, right? It was like a policy of the government to brutalize and unfairly dismiss all citizens of our country from what I call the Zambezi provinces. Yes. We saw it. They were retired in national interest, like you've mentioned. So it was a very bad patch of our history. And I hope that we are going to put an end to that. That's why here on TV Bakwetu, we are really not ashamed to confront the issue. When we do it, some people think that, why do you give attention to this issue? We do, Moomba, because it matters. Every Zambian matters.
Yes.
And One Zambia, One Nation means appreciating and respecting everybody And so we've taken very clear position that we do not like tribalism, and we are going to talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know something that actually broke my heart? It's people beginning to call themselves, my tribe is Zambian. That, Mr. Munsha, Linda, and everyone watching us, that is sad. That for me is just a sign that there's something wrong here. My tribe is not Zambian. My tribe
What made you so sad about that statement, Moomba?
It's because now people want to hide who they are. And in trying to say we are one, they simply want to say my tribe is Zambian, because they may not want to be victimized, or they may not want to be seen to belong to that tribe and not. My tribe is not Zambian. I am Zambian, and I belong to a certain tribe. And for us to want to hide in that, it shows that there is a problem. My reg, when you're filling in a form, police, they even ask tribe. Have you seen that section? You have your name, your
chief.
Every chief, they ask tribe. You don't say tribe Zambian, do you?
No, you actually say your own tribe.
Valley or everything. But the fact that we want to come up and mask it all up and say my tribe is Zambian, that's wrong. We have to say.
Go on.
Go ahead. Go on.
I was just going to say, do you feel there could be a group of people who were masking their prejudice behind the my tribe is Zambian, perhaps not wanting to appear like they're being tribal, or themselves perhaps not wanting to show what tribe, to be proud of what tribe they were?
Exactly. Because I think it's came to a point where certain people would feel uncomfortable to mention their tribe because they don't want you, who is coming from the Zambezi regions, maybe to feel inferior. So to make you comfortable, to make you a part of the group, they say my tribe is no, thank you.
Well, I'm hoping that soon enough we can go past this really nasty episode where we can embrace diversity, embrace the differences that every tribe brings to the table, and just be as Zambians, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jerome Kanika.
Yes, Bamunj.
Are we going to see picture today or to require?
Picture, no sound.
Today mulikuwaya because ngandera ndamumbepe shati ndedozinga shati kyose kashide mwine ndiwakaeni.
But Jeremy, actually, can I just say something on that, Mamunsha? I remember the other day, I was busy working in my home office and I was following the program. Some people were saying, and I was busy defending you at our way, you know. It's past midnight in Zambia. Give the man a break.
This is so funny. But Jerome, please, we understand you had a very busy day that day. Kuba fe human. Just say no, on that day. Chadi Shuba. We understand. Number watutana na picture sure because of that.
A bit like Valungu. Have you seen the trending video of Munshanava Jeremy? There's a trending video of Valungu when he's, instead of saying Mr. Speaker, he said Mr. Skipper. So at least he laughed at himself. So that Jeremy could have done the same. Just laugh about it. Sorry guys, nachnaka sana nachrashpula.
No. Picture.
Awe. Niko na picture kwena. It will be very, very difficult lelo. Lelo mulikuwaya.
Cannot pick up our stars.
Maybe a master 300 stars, Mariam Shakari. 300 stars.
All right. But Jerome, we are chatting here with Moomba, and it's been quite a remarkable discussion. Do you have any questions for Moomba?
Yeah, actually, to start with, I'm very much happy that she has taken up the matter and she has thrown the matter back to the police for the police to take action concerning someone with the issues of tribalism. Now, was the matter of tribalism again reported for Mr. Kambwili by someone by the name of by Tabo Kawana? I think he reported Kambwili for tribalism during the time of campaigns. How far maybe has it gone? Have you tried to look into that case which was reported before for Mr. Kambwili again for tribal remarks? And the ruling that was made by ECZ by the time for campaigns when he was reported for that. Don't you think so? Even this matter, it is going to go the same route?
I'm actually glad that I'm not the first person or the only person who has reported this matter. So I thought instead of making a follow-up on Tabo Kawana's report, I thought I should do my own report, because that way, even the courts are going to be able to know that there is public interest in this matter. So if there is anyone out there who feels compelled and who wants this matter to go forward, please make your voice heard. Let it be heard. Our courts, our police need to know that this is a case of public interest and they need to give it the attention that it deserves. I do not know how far Tabo Kawana's issue has gone. I tried to contact him a few times, but I think he was a bit busy, and I don't think his matter has taken off. I have not yet received a response from the IG, and I am definitely going to follow up with his office. I want to know where we stand. I want to know if this case has been taken to the NPA, the National Prosecutions Authority. I want to know if we've been given a date. I'm just going to follow this up, and I hope I'm not going to sing this song alone. When I posted it on social media, I got a few calls and a few people telling me they are rallying behind me. They are willing to be witnesses. They are happy for me to call them to come to court and give their testimony and things like that. So I think we are in the right direction, and I'm hoping that the police is going to give this case the attention that it deserves.
All right. Thank you very much, Moomba, for having stayed with us. I know that you have a young child at home, and so thank you for sparing some time to chat with us on TV Bakwetu. To the Tongas of Zambia, I want you to know once more that what Chimba Kambwili said about you does not represent the views of the Bemba-speaking peoples, and you owe no one an apology. You are our citizens. Your language is beautiful. Speak it freely and be free to be who you are. In fact, even me saying this is so unnecessary and useless that I feel very ashamed of saying it. But these are some of the things we need to say. And I hope that you're going to receive it from your fellow citizens. Have no apology. That's why when I put that statement up on Facebook, some people attacked me and saying that, why are you just talking about it, referring to your Tonga nieces and nephews? I have no apologies to make. I did it because it is something that needed to be done. All of our citizens should walk very freely with their head high. And if the Tonga language gets spoken at State House, that's beautiful. Well, Tonga, the problem. If President Agaide Hichilema at the press conference, Baingira much Tonga. Well, Tonga, you are the problem. Bantu Zambian presidents have spoken in Nyanja, have spoken in Bemba, they've spoken in Ushi, they've spoken in Katwishi, freely. So why can't our president, who is from Wengwa, speak a little bit of Tonga? And no kukokola bali kokola. Bantu bafuiro kukwata press conference much Tonga, answering questions much Tonga, even Ponce Paya okudiba nyech Tonga pa State House. That is what we want to see.
I love that word.
That would be very beautiful. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence, Moomba. All the best.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I hope to come back to give an update as the case progresses and everything. I'll be happy to come back. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We are staying on because we have several. You see, Moomba, we have several other things that we talk about on TV Bakwetu. So we are going to move on to the next. Mukelabai, are you settled?
I am settled. Balishani mkwai, chungulopo mkwai.
Mkwai. Kulishani huko?
Eyo kulife bwino. Tuli mu new government na kuno kwine na ife twali vote.
Oh, I understand you voted for leftists. The left-leaning.
Awe twali bali wina balemba. So balengira na tukwata ba new minister. Pebo twavotele twarefuata at least bachinje kwa ma rules na ma laws yao. Otherwise, it's a very good conversation and program, and you, my lady there, Moomba Salaka, you are the greatest.
My husband.
You have done a great job. Continue. Yeah, very much 20 kwacha utisunga. Itu share ni house number.
Yeah.
No, I am so happy, my sister. You've done a wonderful job, and please, we need people. We need people like you. The criminal aspect needs to be actually be persuaded by the state, and it was good that you took an initiative and reported this gentleman. But the only thing I wanted to say was that you in a doctor what he did, he just destroyed his career. From today, from the time he started all this hate speech campaign until now, he has just actually put a badge over his forehead of hate. And no Zambian will ever believe, even if he goes into, he continues with his politics, takuli umuzambian ukamusuminisha futi ukwiminina ake minina bati takatekepo. That would be a waste of time. He has destroyed his career. He was a very young and viable person, but he picked up the wrong subject. So, my dear sister, you did a wonderful thing. And if we ever to come to in a civil matter, if we in a to come for punitive damages.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that could be an area of law, a tort of tribalism. You can get some punitive damages out of him.
Absolutely.
I was just imagining a situation where he has to compensate everyone who was hurt.
That would be wonderful.
That would be so nice.
That would be so nice. Moomba, there's just a comment by somebody here, one of the viewers, Kalenga Matthew. It says, Bakwetu, you're promoting tribalism. Please debate real issues. So how would you respond to something like this? Do you think this is promoting tribalism?
This is exactly what I was trying to say. We got to a point where we are calling ourselves Zambian because anything that has the word tribe or any tribe mentioned in it, people are already like, oh my God, oh my God. We were already going to a point where you can't say the word Tonga. You can't say the word Bemba because it's tribalism. We've gotten to a point where people are now scared to talk about tribe. This is how deep the damage that Kambwili has caused has grown. Now, I'm hoping that people are going to have time to heal and look at things and words with the normalcy that they deserve. There's nothing wrong with discussing tribe. But because of what has been said over and over and over, people are already getting hurt when they hear you talk about tribe. And this
All
is
right.
what we need to nip in the bud.
Thank you.
Thank you, Moomba. I just want to convey a message from my co-host. His name is General Norman Chipakupaku, who is in Lusaka. And so when he's in Lusaka, I'm a program Yara Pusana. And then he's also a little bit indisposed, so he can't be on the program. But this is what he is saying: "Well done, Moomba," with an exclamation mark. So thank you very much, Paku. I've conveyed the message to Moomba. So please meet up with him. He's in Lusaka. I can connect you to him. Meet up with him and have a little bit of a discussion.
Okay, great.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Moomba. We are now going to make a transition. Thank you. We are now going to make a transition to the other issues here. Now I know that where is Himba? Himba, where are you? Okay, so Himba is not there, but there are several things that are happening with the New Dawn administration, and I gave my opinion yesterday. So there's been a little fallout from that, and so what do you think about my talk yesterday? All of you, my Bakwetu family members, you were not there, and so I know that you probably have your own opinions about it. So we are going to start with Andrew. Andrew Butcher. Now Andrew Wangu. Percy Chama. Yesterday we were critiquing the whole New Dawn thing, and we were trying to see what do you think about that?
Actually, myself, there were some points I did agree with, and there are some points I didn't agree with. For example, like when you I think you mentioned about the time it has taken to appoint the State House staff, things like that. And you mentioned about some of the people who were not like, they needed to create some posts for certain people. On that, I do agree, because you have to look at this way. Yes, there's government positions. When I say government positions, I mean like permanent secretary, those ones. I can understand this for technocrats. Now you've got people who you were fighting campaign with, e.g. you mentioned yeah, I do agree. Yes, you can create a post, politically post, whereby if you are voted out of power, that post disappears. Okay, that's my take, but I do agree that yes, people like that needs to be looked after, you know, because they fought. Yeah, and on my last bit, because I know the other people want to add things. It's what you were discussing just now with the lady there. I'm actually very happy she did that. I'm very happy, and well, because there's nobody who was standing up to go. It seems a lot of people were scared, and that other viewer who said that we are promoting tribalism. Well, let me answer it this way, and that will be my last thing. If we keep quiet, that thing continues. There were examples in the discussion where you said the kid is asking, oh, this and that. Imagine if even the kid now starts noticing. If once kids start noticing things like that, then then we are doomed. If we don't start talking about now, we talk about it, we discuss about it, we teach people about it. That tribalism, because tribalism is the same as racism when we are here. There's not much difference there. It's the same.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Percy. Gladys, the New Dawn.
Good evening, and good evening, viewers. My comment is also about the tribal speech, which Mr. Kambwili. I'm not gonna call him honorable because he's not honorable for me, really. Mr. Kambwili, like Mr. Chipakupaku said, ati mwine wa chisushi. And the Sean 000 or 1,000. I think it is very nice of Hamoa, whatever the name. Sorry, the name she could like Moomba said. It is very wonderful to see that from a woman's point of view, that she took that precedence to take the step to report Mr. Kambwili. It's a lesson to all of us that we should be able to stand up and speak out, because what the tribal hate speech, it can cause a lot of damage, especially if it is extending to children. If in the Western world, when such things happens, him as a parent who has children as well, he should be able to know how much damage it is doing to those children. They can have the psychological effects. It's something which they can even go to psychologists. They can be having the fear, just like she was explaining, that my children was unable to use their own language. It looked like, well, it was just don't bother Mr. Kambwili, but really those are the issues which has to be addressed, even to the young ones, about the hate speech, regardless of Mr. Kambwili and any other who's been involved in the hate speech. It has to be addressed on a serious note, because it can do more damage than good. Children can be failing to go to school just because of the tribal line, the hate speech. So that has to be addressed. And Mr. Kambwili should not go away with it. Thank you.
All right. And so on the New Dawn government, we gave some advice yesterday. Do you agree with the advice I was giving or no?
I watched it yesterday, and apparently I even watched the speech about a few days ago, which not a speech, a video from Nawa. He has a very good sense of humor. I, for one, just from the beginning, I really expected that Nawa, I don't know Nawa, I have no personal attachment with Nawa. And I strongly felt that if he is a person who has been there, I mean, fighting for this freedom and being in the bush, and I hopefully think that the president is listening and using the social media. It is a driving force. Even some people, they don't believe in it, but it is the most effective way of communicating to the leaders. So I think the president should look into it. And of course, not everybody can be accommodated, but there's been a fight which has been taken through the years, being together with the party. I think he deserves he deserves, and a few of those who have been in the fight, he deserves to be recognized and wipe out all those people who are coming from probably who are still holding the post of the UPND. He needs to be recognized and be set in the government, instead of just being a special advisor to the president, as he said it himself, because I could feel deep inside him that there's some kind of frustration in him, even though he does not say it. But when you hear how he is being mocked, how they've been sending messages to him, that really, I mean, it sends a very bad vibe to the new government. We believe in our new president, and we're really thankful that he's doing a great job. But I think he should also take into consideration to look into the people who has been with him, regardless of who is advising him. He's been recognized. The people was having a fight with him when he was in prison. So I think he should also look into other areas of the people who had been with him. So I really agree with you, Mr. Musha.
All right, thank you. Voligezo.
Good evening, TV Bakwetu family. Yeah, I'll start with the discussion that you had yesterday. I followed it as well, and I must say I do agree with Elias, though up to a certain point. But to me, the main thing that has been really touching me is to see those the foot soldiers, the people who were with HH, you know, all through those difficult times, just like my sister Gladys has said, you know, you would expect that by now something should be done, you know, with those people, possibly look for something for them to do. I do agree to say if we just keep it as it is, it's just sending a lot of frustration. Yeah, and it's not a very, very good example because later on in future, what is going to happen is those people who will be standing by the politicians will just say, okay, we are going through all this, but when time comes, we'll be forgotten. So to me, okay, I'm trying to be patient though. I'm trying to be patient with our president. You know, I like him. I love what he's doing. And I'm just like, okay, let's be patient. But we can be patient up to a certain degree. For instance, right now, I don't understand why we are still holding on certain PS. Some of these permanent secretaries, why are we holding on to them? Look what happened today. It was so embarrassing. Let me just say this for once. You know, much as people are saying, no, the Minister of Information is the first time, where blah, 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 we should blah, blah. I'm like, no, there's no way. To me, it's like that speech was written by somebody, and I was just feeling like maybe the speech was written by the PS. And then our minister just came and read it out without proofreading it. So to me, it was like, you know, we have this PS who's still in power, and she even looked like she gave so much authority to the PS. So I'm like thinking, why can't we do something like, as we are in the government now, why can't we do something like get rid of some of these PS and put in other people? Because if we're going to take long keeping them, you know, we don't know how much damage they're going to cause and how much they're going to dilute everything. So I'm like thinking, we are moving at a slow pace. When you think of Moomba embassy, who are in the embassies right now? Who is in the UK embassy right now? Who's the High Commissioner? You see, so I'm like thinking, we need to move. We need to move. We need to do something. And it's not like we don't have enough people in UPND or UPND Alliance. We've got a lot of people who are educated, a lot of people who are public speakers. Look at Nawa. He's a good public speaker already. Why should we have such talent, you know, just, I don't know, maybe we'll be given a position at some point. But to me, I'm like, we need to look at the people who can already do certain, they've got the skills in them. We need to utilize them. We need to make sure we are moving. Because I remember when Letsata went into, when he became president, Webantu said, you know what he did? Immediately, he put he put the people, and work started just within a month. Everything was going on. So I do agree with Bamusha. I feel we need to do something about it. And then secondly, that's the last. My sister Moomba, you are very right. I'm Lozi married to Lunda. This issue of tribes has to end. You know, tribal hate has to end. And I'm proud of you, my Mbusis. I'm proud of you that you reported this Mr. Lunatic. It's not me calling him lunatic. He told us that if he went back to PF, he is Mr. Lunatic. So I'm happy and proud of you that you reported him to the police, because we can't go on. And for those people who are saying, no, Bamusha, you are promoting tribalism. We are not, he's not promoting tribalism. We want to talk about this thing so that it will end. It shouldn't repeat. It has to end. Here in the UK, if somebody is expressing any racial remarks against you, you go to the police. So that way you find that people, they will know that it's wrong to do certain activities, and they will make an end to it. So well done, my sister Moomba. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I'm getting a feedback here. Thank you.
Yeah, I could hear it as well. I was even wondering whether it was me. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we're going to take the discussion over to the next level. And we have our sister Gladys and we have Linda and Gladys and Jerome who are going to take over this next discussion. Are you getting my feedback?
Yes, we are.
Are you getting it now?
Yes.
Yes.
It's still there?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. I think it's gone now. And so we're going to carry on with the discussion. But I just wanted to get the issue of what happened today at the Ministry of Information. I know that Himba is very hot on this issue. The minister is still learning, so she's just going to be okay. The only concern I had with that speech was the content, but not the delivery. Do you still agree, Himba?
I decide to be quiet on that one. Can I go? Let's just go a spade.
Okay. I leave it. I'll come and join you later. Linda, please.
Our minister is a good speaker. I've heard her on other platforms speaking, but I think for that ministerial position and the situation at the moment in our country, I think she needs a lot of training, and she needs a lot of training, and she needs to be guided. Bantu, that ministry is the one that does damage control. Even when other leaders, they've misled the nation, they have to come in quickly. And she's like the face of the country. So she'll be the one to speak. She will be always in front of the camera. So if she's finding it difficult to face the camera and she's got maybe anxiety, excitement, I think she needs a lot of help, Mamunsha. Ministry, so that she's trained, she improves, then she gets back if we really need her in that ministry. For now, that's my submission.
Okay, thank you, Rahimba. So what sort of ministry would you suggest for her? And you were thinking that perhaps someone could take over. Do you have any person in mind who could be suitable for that ministry?
Thank you, Comrade Linda. The question you've asked me, it will drive me into appointments, which I'm having an issue with now.
Okay.
You know, there are key ministries. We needed people who could share the vision with the president. Like now, we are still dealing with the mood of the Zambian people who are still hurt and grieved. And these Zambian people, they need to be carried forward to heal with what we've been through, from the gassing, insult, tribalism, humiliation, all that. Zambian people still need to heal. So we would need people that when they speak or when they stand, they are speaking to give hope, continuous hope. You know, healing, it's a therapy. You don't just heal just like that. So for me, even these other ministries like gender, I don't know whether she's been a minister before. And I'm so glad she's also still young and she's got time to learn. You know, being a leader, you have to learn, you have to be mentored, you have to be nurtured. There are a lot of things you need to learn. You don't just come up that I speak to the public. So for me, I am a ministry like maybe gender, probably, I don't know. I like, in such a topic, I miss Jerome. Sometimes that's when we say, even if the CV is rich, let's look at the caliber and where the person can deliver very well.
Yeah.
As much as we are looking at people with merit, silent, can't they perform? Graduate nama credit, can't they perform at their level, at their capacity? So for me, she's honestly the face she's got, she's beautiful. No one can take it away from her. And when she speaks, when she's confident and understand what she's doing, she speaks very well. But I think for that ministry,
and being in front of the camera, defending the government, we need someone very strong.
Excellent. I agree with you on quite a number of issues that you've raised there, because the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, it's almost like the gate for government propaganda and government dissemination of information.
True.
So you need a seasoned communicator, a seasoned person who knows the government policies. So if things go wrong, what I was expecting from her today was talking about or defending what the policies of the UPND are, and trying to quieten the displeasure or the discourse that is going on in society at the moment in regards to the PF appointed permanent secretaries, things about the youths, the discontentment of the youths, the ones who are worrying about the jobs that they haven't been offered, and the biggest thing that has been going on in terms of education. So she should have come out, well, that's what I was hoping should come out as her debut press conference, instead of discussing an individual, because anything that a minister talks about, that becomes policy. So if she's going to spend her first day in office discussing a non-entity, so to speak, just an individual, it didn't make sense to me. And that is just giving him notoriety, giving power to the words that he was uttering. I feel that should be left to the cadres, let them sort out that guy who was saying all these crazy things, but definitely not the minister. I'll go to Patrick. What are your views on the two issues that we've discussed so far, from Moomba's case and the Minister of Information?
Thank you, Linda. Hello, viewers. Thank you, the panel. I think what Moomba has done is a tremendous job. She needs to be commended. Just hold on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've got somebody.
Did you do the Zambian parents look? Just one look and
shame,
the kids start behaving.
Yeah.
Did you want me to come back to you?
Yeah, come back to me later.
Okay, I'll pass it on to Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. The same question. Hi, the same question I asked to Patrick. You can pick it up. What are your views about what happened today at the Ministry of Information, and any views on taking Dr. Pui to the police, reporting him to the police about what his tribal remarks? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you. So I would like to commend, is it Moomba, for her submission. I think she's definitely setting a brilliant example for everyone else to step up and stand up when you see wrongdoing. And if it means taking it to the police, I think you should definitely take those steps. And just with regard to today's press briefing from the Minister of Communications, I think it's still so soon to judge her to the point where we think she must be replaced. I think we need to be able to give each other a chance. Listening to her, you can definitely see that there's something that the president saw in her. And I do agree with Elias to say I think the speech wasn't well written. You could tell she was thrown off with some of the phrases in the speech. So I think definitely maybe just areas of improvement, proofreading before you actually go live and read speeches out. I think we should definitely give her a chance. She's definitely got something there. And she's a woman, and I'm all about women power. I think we should just give her some time to settle in. And yeah, I think she should definitely take stock of today and make improvements going forward.
Okay.
Just with regards to, thank you.
Carry on. No,
with regards to, announcements, I think I agree with the general sentiment of people. There's people who worked really hard for the government of the day that I think deserve to be appointed, and just the delay and the suspense is driving people to have sort of like just wild thoughts about what's actually going on. So I think definitely the uncertainty needs to be sorted out, and the president needs to listen to people's cries out there to say, you know what, these people have done a lot of work, they've sacrificed, they've actually been to jail. I think they deserve a place, they deserve a seat in government.
Okay. Just to play devil's advocate, Joanne, you mentioned about giving the minister time to learn and time to have a bit more experience. And then you talked about the president, that he's taking too much time. So I'm going to be playing devil's advocate here. What would you say to a person who says the president has only been in office for 3 weeks? And that's not enough time to repair the crazy damage that the Patriotic Front has left behind. What would be your response to that?
I think, well, first impressions do count, but I think it being just her first press briefing and everyone just attacking her and saying, no, she needs to be let go, I think it's a little bit too brutal. It's her first time. I mean, to compare her time there and the president, I think it's a little bit too far-fetched, but I think they just need to give her a bit of time. Nobody is perfect. People do make mistakes. We're all human. And I think it's just taking it a little bit too far in saying she doesn't deserve it. I think the president wouldn't have put someone who wasn't up to speed with the role if he didn't see that. So I think he definitely saw something in her, and I think we should just believe that she can do better.
Okay. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Thank you. But Patrick, are you ready?
Ready. I had to dispatch somebody.
No problem.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking about Mr. CO2. I think it's long overdue. I'm so surprised. I was so surprised that when the ECZ punished him, that matter should have gone to court, because tribalism in Zambia is a criminal offense. Chimba should have been prosecuted, but I don't know what happened. But you know, and I thought somebody should have picked it up, and I'm glad that Moomba has picked up that Zambia does not need racism or discrimination. You know, if I can assure you, if the PF had won the elections, Zambia would have gone the Rwanda route. Zambia would have been finished, because the PF, tribalism was a propaganda. And whatever Chimba was doing, you remember when he was attacking the Tongas, he was the Minister of Information. So he was the propaganda minister for the PF. So I remember I was discussing with one of my colleagues in the UPND Global Diaspora Initiative. We were worried about two things, you know, what that PF was going to bring during the elections. One of them was the issue of the mines. And then the second issue was the issue of tribalism. We knew exactly he was going to bring it, but Chimba wasn't there then. So they had to find somebody who is good at doing that, and the only person they could have used was Chimba, you know, Mr. CO2. And I think a precedence needs to be. We need to have a precedence in court. The court needs to make a determination.
Yeah, to deter other people.
Yes, and this needs to be stopped once and for all. You know, where I grew up in Kitwe, Misesh Mindolo. I'm so shocked by now. I never knew the tribes of my friends. Oh, I knew that they were Zambians. It's only when the PF came to power, that's when I came to know that Moomba is a Tonga. You know, some of my friends I even talk to them now. I didn't know their tribes. So what the PF did was so bad, firing people because they come from the Zambezi provinces. I know a lot of my friends who are Lozis, Tongas, they lost their jobs. But what they forgot was Zambia has gone so diverse that we've intermarried. You know, I've got uncles who are, my mom comes from Luapula, my dad comes from Chinsali. So I'm Bemba Lunda, from my mother's side. I've got uncles from my mother's side who are Bemba speaking because they come from Luapula. They're married to Lozis. I've got Lozis, aunties who are Lozis, who are Kahondes, who are Lambas. I'm married to somebody from the East.
The refreshing thing is,
so
Zambians
I don't know why the PF
that.
wanted to destroy us.
Yeah.
I think what the PF thought, they thought the Bemba speaking and the East are the majority when you put them together. So they don't care about the minority. But that's how the war started in Rwanda.
Yeah.
The minority were mistreating the majority.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But
Thank
again,
you for the submission, Patrick. I'll give you more time to.
So
to
on the
talk
issue of what do you call the Minister of Information?
Yes.
I think it's too early to start. That's for me. I think for the president to put that lady in there, obviously the president had confidence in the lady.
Okay.
And then I think it's too early to start attacking her. The other thing I noticed, maybe that meeting must have been rushed. It wasn't properly planned.
Okay.
And then,
can I just ask you a question on that issue, Patrick? A lot on these streets of Facebook, I've been reading a lot about the blame game going around, that it wasn't her fault. It was the PF appointed guy who was sitting next to her who probably wrote the speech. But personally, a bit like Joanne, I'm an advocate for women in leadership. Gosh, we could talk about this till the cows come home. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel that ministry is so critical. There's no room for error. As you can see, there are so many things that are going wrong in the UPND, minor things, but if left unchecked, they could become quite big because there's a whole lot of noise going on in the background. I'm sure the panel has caught wind of some of that. So her duty, her job is to come out there and not deal with minor issues like Nakachinda, but to actually cement the program.
I think that's where I was trying to come to, Valinda.
Okay.
The issue of Nakachinda shouldn't have been a subject of that press conference.
Sure.
Nakachinda, just like Mr. Zeros, I call him Mr. Botswana Zeros, because that guy did something very unethical. I don't know whether you guys have heard about it. I'm an accountant, is an accountant, and what he did, and I'm saying it here on, he ran away from Botswana. There in Botswana, he cannot even call HH a liar, because what he did in Botswana was so unethical and unprofessional, where he lied to the Botswanan government that he carried out a research, and yet he didn't, after he had been paid 100,000 pula in advance. And then, as if it was enough, he tried to sue the person who first discovered the fraud. And then when they went to court, the things that came out of that court judgment was unbelievable. So the judge recommended that Mr. Zero should be taken to court for prosecution. And that's how Mr. Zero ran away from Botswana. So do you expect that person to become a president of Zambia? That guy is no different from Lungu, who swindled a widow.
Sure.
Anyway, she shouldn't have spoken about that. But again, and what you've said is true. That ministry is so vital, because at the moment, the things that are going on in the UPND blocks, they will blow your head off.
Yeah.
The main issue that people are talking about is, and I'm worried about it, is the issue of having those permanent secretaries. Because
that's
our
what I was hoping
our
to address.
campaign was, there's so much corruption in government.
Sure.
Minister of Health, you remember the permanent secretary was brought to one of the parliamentary committees, and the fraud that was discussed in that parliamentary committee was unbelievable. That lady is still there. So people are worried that how come the criminals, because these are CEOs who are involved in criminal activities, they are still there. So what? Because some people are saying we told that they are saving money, but how do you save money? Because the loss that if these criminals are still there, they're still doing their criminal activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then look at anti-corruption. For 7 years, they never prosecuted anybody. We don't even know who the owners of the 48 houses.
Exactly.
So
but Patrick, I'll stop you there for a minute.
How do you expect those criminals, those anti-corruption bosses and DEC to prosecute somebody now? Look at ZRA.
Yeah.
Chanda.
Yeah. I'll stop you there, Patrick, just for a minute, so that I can ask somebody to respond to some very important points that you've raised. Is Vabuti?
I'm here.
Hi, Vabuti. First of all, a couple of sentiments on the minister and what Moomba discussed in regards to Dr. Pui, if you have any sentiments on that. And then I'll ask you a couple of questions based on what Patrick alluded to. Go for it.
And then, Belinda, before you go any further, look at ZESCO.
I'll give you more time, Patrick.
Yeah, let me just finish that. Do you expect the board of ZESCO to still be there?
There's a theory. That's why I said I'll get back to you. Hold that thought. Don't depart from it. There's a theory behind that. Apparently, the president has got a plan. But Beauty, take the floor.
Linda, I don't even know the questions you asked me, but I'm just going to go with whatever is going on.
Do you want me to repeat them?
No, not at all. I'll go along with whatever is being discussed at the moment.
Okay, go for it.
I agree with Patrick and everybody else regarding what's his name, the foot soldiers. You know, those guys should have been the first people to be taken care of. And I think the frustration that's actually coming out of them, from them is, of course, people are laughing at them. And the other thing is there's been appointments of people that were not even expected to be there. You know, some of them are coming from, I don't know, MMD or whatever, you know, from what I've been reading, you know, and I don't want to mention names, but, you know, that, and, you know, you can see how people are being mocked on that, especially now. For me, I think it's heartbreaking, even though he has not mentioned it. You know, yesterday I saw Akashamba to really mad. You know, I didn't know that guy can go that
He's
mad.
very passionate, Aka.
He was actually, you know, yesterday I just thought, what? You know, I showed my husband, I said, look at this. Like, and whatever he was speaking, whatever he was talking about was real. Those are some of the issues that we should have taken care of Balanda shani ati fumiechile muli nsomo the first before tawla fumiechile muli sori amnove. So, you know, for me, those are some of the points that again, the president knows what he's doing. The other important issue to the Zambian people, I think that is probably missing, and I know he's talking to them all the time, is communication. Because they want to understand why these PS people and all these kind of people are still in power when we already have elected members of, you know, councillors and all them kind of people, right? All he just needs to do is speak to them and say, listen, guys, we understand your frustration, but we're doing the best we can to make sure that people are, you know, brought in and all this kind of stuff.
What could be the theories there? Let's just have a few moments to theorize. Why do you think the president is doing what he's doing?
You know, to be honest with you, I'm not a politician. I don't know. I'm sure when you think back on it, it's because this guy wants to, you know, he promised people a lot of things. And he wants to make sure that all those things come to pass. And how does he do that? Is by making sure that he puts in place people that are reliable, people that can deliver. But that just brings me back to the Minister of Information Services, whatever she is. Now people are coming to, they're starting to compare her to people like Dora Celia. Nobody can compare that person to Dora Celia by a mile, you know, by a mile. But that's what is happening now. They're comparing her to Dora Celia, and Dora Celia was able to deliver in one day. Like, to me, what I think is, like, I'm a regional director here. Somebody can write an email to me and say, well, that has to go to the CEO. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna send that email until I agree with the content that's in it. When she was given that speech, she should have told the people what they're expecting to see in her ministry going forward. And those are the things that should have gone in her speech. Straight away, that is you setting the tone.
Absolutely.
Nobody can tell me that. Nobody can tell me that the person you're sitting next to is the one who was putting her under pressure.
Okay, thank you, Babutu. I'm just very conscious of time. Keleba, I'll give you a few moments based on all the topics that have been alluded to. What are your views?
Well, thank you very much. I'll try to be brief because we have run out of time. Yeah, the thing is, inochonde monapo chana monapo chana landire pona kale. Famous Zambians, we expect a lot of things to be done in a magic way. That's why turamona tingatwaya kuma chechi, we expect miracles to happen. You know, even when it's obvious that we have to work hard for what we have and how you're going to live. For them, it's the HH, whatever become pressure, both Zambians, because this man has never been in government before. This is his first time. And I have my issues, these other people, they are not being appointed because the president is taking too long. You know, he cannot please everyone. You know, there will be some that will be left out, and there will be some that will be in. So on that part, Ochondelo Mbakuma Zambians, tone down, let the man do the work, because you are the same people who are going to start blaming him if he makes a mistake, you know. And these things, we have a system in place, we have laws. Those who are advocating to terminate the contracts of these PSs, you have to understand one thing, that those contracts are binding. For you to terminate, you must have a good reasons. And if you terminate those contracts arbitrarily, dismiss them without any probable cause, they will sue you.
They will sue you, that is true. We're literally running out of time.
Yes, sorry. It's us, the Zambian people, that are going to take this tab and pay those people if they take us to court. So yes, he can remove them from their offices, but he has to follow the right procedure, not doing it just because.
Not pante.
Therefore, a proper procedure has been done.
Thank you,
I think on that part, I will just.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry to rush you.
Before we go, Chair, as much as we are saying we give HH time, I think.
Who's speaking?
They should also. This is yes, please. As much as we are saying we should give HH more time, there's just this one thing which I want to communicate to all of you comrades, is that as we are talking right now, and over the appointments, young people, they've started mobilizing themselves to demonstrate.
Exactly.
As we are talking now.
That's premature. I'm telling you,
it is, you're right, but it is happening.
This, whether you say it's prematurely, but it's happening right now, Bamkeleva, and this is the damage control. We need to talk about it. As much as we are saying it's premature, there are also party members who needs to be managed, who worked hard. And as Beauty Bachelanda, there should be communication. There should be communication. And young people are saying we voted for change. So if we still have the PF members in the positions, what change did we vote for?
Absolutely. Gladys,
it has been only 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Sorry. Can I give Gladys a moment to speak? We can continue in the background. Unmute yourself, Gladys.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Amunsha, we'll stop it in a few seconds. Just one point, go for it, and we can carry on. I'm sorry, I didn't give you enough chance.
Yes, please. I just want to contribute on the current happenings of some of the cabinet ministers. I mean, some of the members who are in the parliament, like the PF. This is what is making the people who were not voted into power being vulnerable. Also, it gives the chance to people like Given Luwinda, who I heard yesterday when he was saying that, for instance, that the speech which the president gave was the speech which was written some time back for PH.
That was outrageous. Yes, I heard that. Thank you so much. Wrap it up. Sorry.
Yeah, so I can just relate to probably the press briefing which the lady gave today, that it could have been written by somebody else and it was not proofread, and that could be the same thing which has probably happened, because that also gives the right to the opposition to start throwing tantrums, because now they have the balls and they have the voice to speak loud.
Absolutely.
Like people like Given
Correct.
Absolutely.
On that note, I'm being given a red flag by Council Munsha. We'll carry this conversation in the background, and I have some questions for Patrick. He's got incredible points about ZESCO and other CEOs. Thank you very much, viewers, for watching. This has been a presentation of TV Bakwetu. Please do not forget to send those beautiful stars, because Bamunsha needs them. I don't know why. I sent quite a few myself, so just send them. Okay, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
And please sign me.